Welcome. This is Glasgow Rangers Nation. I'm Aaron James, and this is all your latest Rangers news, guys. As we obviously work towards the game at the weekend, Dundee in the Cup, and we're back home. Thank God we're back home. We're back at Ibrox. It's great to be back in our true homeland, back at the stadium that is one of the finest stadiums in world football, one of the most amazing cauldrons of football atmosphere that even Roy Keane and Gary Neville described once as the most scariest atmosphere they've played in. And they've played in the Ali Sami Yen Stadium in Istanbul against Galatasaray. Yet they've put Ibrox down as the most fearful atmosphere. The Rangers' 12th man will be on view on Saturday as we take on Dundee. I think it was Saturday. It should be Saturday. Yeah, I think it's tea time kickoff, isn't it? God, I hate a tea time kickoff, don't we? Anyway, look, we're not going to talk particularly about the board in this video. We talked about the board for night last night. I talked about Dave King and Simon Jordan's comments about the Rangers board being childish, about the fact that we need the Park family gone from this club. Obviously, that will be down to a bigger organisation than me. I can't control that. Look, I mean, people have said to me, why don't you organise protests? Well, you know what? No one listens to me that much. Yes, I've got over 6,000 subscribers, but you need the big media organisations organising protests against the Park family if they are truly going to come off. You know, the likes of Heart and Hand, Rangers Review, who will never do it. You know, the likes of CJ Novo, etc., calling fans out against the Park family. Right, well, look, the news, you know, Rangers, I think we all admit, in terms of this squad, where we're at with this squad, there is some very exciting young talent within the squad. Hamza Igman came on Saturday, backing obviously up the 15-16 minutes he played against Celtic at Parkhead, and looked quality, looked technically very, very good indeed. His ability to hold up the ball, his ability to play others in, you know, his ability to take on players, his strength. Some people even likening him to an early Alfredo Morelos in terms of his stature and his physicality. Certainly, you know, if he can go on to be as successful as Alfie, and even perhaps more successful given the promise and talent this young lad comes on with, he will certainly do very well for the club. But it's not only him, you know, we have the likes of Conor Barron, we have Hiefte, we have Mohamed Diamande, who, although didn't have the best game on Sunday, is certainly a very talented up-and-coming player. Dujon Sterling, another. We have obviously as well. We've got the likes of obviously Big Cass. He could be a talent. We don't know yet. We haven't seen that yet. And we obviously got those talents that are coming through the youth academy that we haven't yet seen, or, you know, that we need to start to see: the Bailey Rices, the Cole McKinnons, the Archie Stevens, the Paul Ncios, etc., etc. So there's a lot of youthful promise there, but the squad is still light in certain areas. It's still light in the midfield, in my opinion. And yes, Nico Raskin back is a huge lift. Having Nico back, I think, you know, is a benefit. Nico's got legs. He's, you know, yeah, all the players have got legs, but you know what I mean. He's got a bit of ability to get around the park. He's got a bit of ability to run box to box. He, you know, he has that quality to be able to do that. And Nico can play 6. He can play 8. He can even play a bit further forward than 8 as well, like he has done for the Belgian under 21. So, you know, Nico's got that in his locker. Dujon can play in the 6 role, although, you know, he realistically is either a right back or more a centre back, or even perhaps a right winger. You know, I think he did struggle to some degree, didn't he, in that Celtic game in the CDM role as they overran us, you know, in that game. I think we do need a bit of strength in depth there. Now, Rangers apparently were looking into the free agent market, and some people were annoyed that they missed out on Ignatenko, the Ukrainian, Alzate they missed out on. Although people say you can't miss out on someone if you're not in for them. But, you know, it's that term of they were available, we didn't go in for it. You know, we didn't obviously get in there and get them. Now, Phil Clermont himself said that, you know, we were looking at the free agent market. It was something we were considering, you know, that we were looking at free agents, and, you know, Rangers haven't made free agent signings for a very, very long time. And clubs often are reticent to make free agent signings unless these players are, you know, guaranteed successes because of the risks that come with them. You know, quite often these players are free agents for a reason. They pass their best. They have bad injury history, Kamal Roof, for example. You know, there is perhaps an attitude question over them. Their careers dropped off a lot. You know, there's very rarely are they free agents who are just there because, you know, they've decided in mutual agreement with the club that it'd be better if they part ways and they go their own way. You know, that's the way it is. Now, one free agent apparently who Rangers did approach and did attempt to sign was the former Dutch international Davy Klaassen. Klaassen has got an excellent footballing CV, you know, having played for a number of top clubs and Everton. Sorry, I had to get that one. I've got to say, everything made me laugh. They really do. The poorer half of Merseyside. Klaassen has played for Ajax. He's played for Everton. He's played for Werder Bremen in the Bundesliga. He's gone back to Ajax again. He played for Inter Milan in Italy. Obviously, like I said, he played for Everton, but we all have our crosses to bear, only making 7 appearances. And he was released by Inter Milan. Inter Milan, obviously, very ambitious Italian club with a very ambitious owner, released Klaassen. Klaassen is 31 years old. And apparently Rangers did approach the former Netherlands international with a view to signing him. Now, this was revealed in a number of media sources yesterday. However, Klaassen turned down Rangers. He also turned down, I think it was Royal Antwerp or one of the Belgian clubs, certainly. He turned down as well and has now signed for Ajax in his 3rd spell with the club that you can see why he wants it. When Ajax came knocking, and this is a guy who came through the youth system at Ajax. He was 11 years old when he signed his first Ajax contract. Ajax is in his blood, so you can kind of see the reason why he turned Rangers down to go home. He's 31. I suppose for his family, he wants to perhaps take them home to Holland for his family to grow up in Holland, for him to finish his career in Holland. So you can't blame Davy Klaassen for taking this decision, but it's an interesting development nonetheless. Now I know you might say, well, this is a player we haven't signed, so why are we talking about him? Well, we're talking about him because it clearly shows that Rangers are still active in terms of looking at these free agents, and that they are willing, if the right one becomes available, to make that move and sign that free agent, which is, a move forward, perhaps a bit of a change in the philosophy of the club. Now, we do know that the trading model is something we want to set up, and we do know that is obviously the kind of reason we've gone for Hamza, we've gone for Dio, we've gone for Cortez, we've gone for Barron. These are all players that really do fit that trading model. However, the likes of Klaassen, Proper, for example, are players that are more experienced, that are not really there for future, for getting cash back in the future. They're not players that are going to, get huge fees back for them. Same with the likes of Dessers, who was obviously reaching in 29-30. He's only going to go downhill from it then. It's going to be a big crash. But look, I think the situation is that it is very interesting that we are still available and we are still looking and obviously ploughing this free agent market, that Niels Koppen and Philippe Clement and the rest of the football board are quite clearly looking at these free agent players. Now, one of the free agent players that became available in recent times was a player that Rangers had previously looked at in 2022. Now, this player that apparently that we're looking at, this is a release player, is been released by Besiktas. That is where this guy has come from. Now, like I said, it's interesting, isn't it? Besiktas, Gio van Bronckhorst, post Turkish window, it is looking to restructure his squad, to put his squad back on the back into some sort of order and move his club forward. Now, the player who has been released is Daniel Amati, who is a former Leicester City player and has been with Besiktas for a little while now, but obviously has been deemed surplus to requirements at Besiktas by Gio van Bronckhorst. Now, Marty is only 29 years old. I think that's quite old, but he's 29 years old. So he's certainly someone who would bring experience and is a player that Rangers have previously looked at. He's 6'1". He's big, he's quick, he's strong. That rhymes, I think, kind of. He is a defender and a midfielder. In terms of his career, Marty started his career with a kind of one of those youth academies in Africa, then went to Djurgårdens in Sweden before heading to Copenhagen in Denmark. Then between 2016 and 2023, he was with Leicester City, winning the Premier League at Leicester City in that amazing season, making over 100 appearances for Leicester before in 2023. Joining Besiktas. He's a Ghana international, having made 53 appearances for his club. He's won the Danish Super League. He's won the Danish Cup. He's won the FA Cup. He's won the FA Community Shield. He's won the Turkish Cup. He was an AFCON runner-up in 2015. And he's a player who can play right back. He can play centre back. He can play defensive midfield. Now, given the fact that Rangers are still very much in the market for a six, and even possibly a right back as well, Amati could well be someone that we look at. He has been a previous target for the club, and the club have shown, in the past that we're not afraid to go back and look at targets that we've looked at in the past that we've already done the scouting work on. Now, given the fact that Amati has been released from his contract, he would, of course, not cost a transfer fee. Yes, he would cost a signing on fee, and yes, he would cost for wages. And people feel that the wages are where it could be prohibitive. I don't know what the guy was on at Besiktas. Now, according to reports, a number of English clubs are looking at him. There's been reports also that Celtic are also looking at him as well. He is clearly in high demand, but he certainly fits the bill of the type of player that Rangers would want to sign. They're big, physical, quick, strong, and that's kind of the breed, the type of player that Clement has been looking at this summer, hasn't he? And trying to bring in Coppen as well to some degree. Obviously, he's as the director of recruitment. So could Amati be a realistic target for Rangers? I've had a quick look at him. It only sort of came across my phone the other sort of like in the last sort of couple of hours. So I've had a little read round, a little scout round, watched a few clips and bits and pieces. I know you can't pick up everything from what you read in clips, but he looks a decent player. He looks a quality player. So, is this someone we should be looking at? Probably, yeah. This is a player we should be having a good long look at. And it is clear from the move to sign Davy Klaassen that we do still want to look at free agent signings. So, Amati, a possibility. Could well be, guys. Could well be. I mean, there are others out there. I mean, there was an article done in one of the papers, wasn't there, the other day about their free agents. But the thing that puts me off some of these guys who are big names. Don't get me wrong. I don't just mean the length of letters they've got. These are guys who had a pretty glowing career. Marco van Ginkel, who's been at Chelsea and Arnhem. Kevin Strootman, who spent time at PSV and AS Roma, and was once one of the most highly regarded players coming out of Holland. But these guys are cracking on a bit. Van Ginkel's 31, Strootman's 34. Miriam Pjanic, another one, I think, and this is a guy who's played in Rome, who's played in Barcelona. Again, I think a guy who's way out of our price league. Played for AC Milan as well, if I'm not mistaken. There is those players out there, but there are a lot of them are very unrealistic targets for Rangers, given the fact that they would still want exceptionally high wages, even though they are free agents. So, look, I think Amati perhaps is a more realistic move. He's 29, he's still got a good couple of years in him. It's not an investment that's going to obviously work long term. It's not someone who's going to fit in the trading model, but it's certainly someone who could do a job for the next 2, 3, maybe years for Rangers. And Clement has shown that he's not afraid to also look at the here and now and look at those experienced players. And you feel at times that yes, having a youthful exuberance to your squad of the likes of Yefte and Cortez and Big Hamza and Barron and so on and so forth is excellent. Of course it is. Young players that are fantastic, but you still do need an experienced core in that team to, at times when the going gets tough, put their arms around these young players and take them on the journey through those tough times. Guys, let me know what you think anyway of these stories. Let me know, is anybody any reading you've done? I know you guys are, I know Rangers fans are very knowledgeable football fans, but I know that we look and we read and we look at a lot of things. Anyone you've seen that you're interested in? Anyone you'd like me to look at as well as a possibility of a free agent signing? Well, thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. Please drop me a comment. Please drop a like. All helps the video to grow. Obviously, smash the sub, help the channel to keep on growing. And thank you for watching. As always, guys, it means the world. It really does. Your support is amazing. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you. And always remember on the way out, we are the people.